there are many federal employees that are civil servants, meaning that they don't come in because of partisan politics. That's there to protect you as a conservative and Tara as a liberal.
I'm sorry, I think
it's there to protect both of you.
I hear your debating point. I think it is incredibly naive to believe that there are not civil service bureaucrats who would love nothing more than to thwart this president for 4 years and wait for a Democrat.
Then why are Republican senators worried about it? Don't you think it would be a little bit stressful right now to be a federal worker, to be a park ranger? Yes.
And there
to be a federal worker?
It's a hell of a lot more stressful than
okay,
this is
number 175. Democrats dying.
Joe, Tara, and Scott, and Anna. Everybody, hold on 1 second.
Your colleagues fired. It is stressful to be working at the NIH.
That's a lie.
It is stressful to be.
Not one. Name one.
Elon Musk tonight.
I read it in the Miami Herald.
So, President, what do you say to people who worry that targeting an individual firm or individuals who aren't Jack Smith?
Excuse me. I've been targeted for 4 years, longer than that. So you don't tell me about targeting. I was the target of corrupt politicians for 4 years, and then 4 years after that. So don't talk to me about targeting.
We got to talk about how Democrats are on the opposite end of this again, right? So you saw from the intro, liberals seem to want to defend the federal employees, right? You know, when we go through a recession, when the economy is tanking and, companies have to do mass layoffs, mass firings, many people believe that during the Biden years, we actually suffered a recession, but the media told us we weren't suffering from a recession. Remember, these companies were laying off people left and right, cutting down the size of their workforce because they overhired during COVID. And the media kept telling you as an American, the economy is good, the economy is strong. College kids coming into the economy during Biden's years were struggling to find work. They kept gaslighting us, telling us, no, the economy is strong, the economy is strong. The Guardian, I love to bring up the Guardian as my evidence. 8 months ago was saying, majority of Americans falsely believe that the Biden economy is weak or in a recession. 8 months, 9 months, 10 months later, 2025, after President Trump wins, voters were right. The economy was bad because of fluffed up numbers, because of overcounted jobs. This is the kind of crap that Democrats peddle, and this is why I'm expressing a sentiment that I believe many Americans have, what led many Americans to vote for Donald Trump, is that the Democrats are full of ish. And we all know it. We all see it now. Most of us see it now. 66% said Democrats should wait and see Trump's approach to actions. 66 says Democrats should join the mission to cut government waste. They haven't been doing that. As you saw from the intro, at every turn, right? At every way, the Democrats are by default already against what Donald Trump is saying, even though 66% say, hey, look, Democrats, wait and see. Take a wait and see approach. Hey, Democrats, join in, engage with DOGE, direct them in some way, right? Work together. 52% says Democrats deliberately kept the border open for illegal aliens. Many Americans believe that Democrats are not working in the best interest of America. And this is why I said Democrats are the party of America last. 70% says hiring should be based on merit and objective evaluations. Like when Donald Trump fired the woke joint chief of staff for the military who was pushing DEI. You failed 7 audits and you think you deserve to keep your job because you're a black man? Yeah, okay. The U.S. debt is unsustainable. They're crying about the budget. Recently, they're crying about the budget. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm doing this early in the morning. But now the Democrats are crying about the budget. Oh, it's tax cut for the rich. It's this, that. The 83% said the government should balance the budget. 69% support cutting $1 trillion in government spending. 77% of few review of all government spending, which is what Donald Trump is trying to do. But what these judges are doing, they're sitting here trying to stop Elon Musk, Donald Trump from doing their job. This is what the American people want, right? And here's a clip I want to show you. Mr. Wonderful, he's going to make a very wonderful point, is that everyday Americans, the common American, all of us, all the voters, every day when we work to give a percentage of our money to the government, we are always asked, what did you do yesterday? What are you going to do today, Kenny? Every day by your bosses, your colleagues, they're always asking, hey, what are you up to? Because you're working on a project, you're working on an initiative, you're working on a directive. I don't care if you're the hostess. I don't care if you're working retail. Hey, are you going to restock inventory today? When you're going to do it? How you're doing it? Did you finish it? We all have projects that we're working on in our day-to-day jobs. But the government, this how the funny part is, these federal employees still come across very spoiled. They keep thinking, oh, we're hardworking. It's just like a job in the private sector. Okay, but then when you get asked a question, just like in the private sector, you're offended? You want to feign outrage over this? Get the F out of here. And this is how I know that this is merely political. I already pointed out in my previous videos, 93% of Washington, people who live in Washington voted for the Democrat, voted for Kamala Harris. So all I see is that you're just protecting your constituency. You don't think political bias plays a part into how these people are doing their day-to-day jobs? You got FBI people threatening that if they get fired, they're going to leak information to foreign countries. But Abby Phillips, oh, no, they're not going to do that. You're exaggerating, Scott Jennings. They won't do stuff like that for political reasons. They're here to protect all Americans, regardless of your political persuasion. But 93% of them there's a 93% chance that their political persuasion, it leans on the left. An authoritarian, censorship-happy party. Yeah, okay. But I digress. Let's take a look at this clip from Mr. Wonderful and his criticisms for federal employees crying about being asked, what did you do last week?
Well, first of all, if they're not answering after 2 times requested, are they dead? I mean, remember, no one's ever tested it. I mean, it's not unreasonable to say, look, you work for the federal government. Here's the email we have on record for you. We've requested a response, and you haven't answered twice. I mean, what's wrong with that? The rational person would say, yeah, this is not okay. And
they're being told not to respond by some of their employers, though. Does that make a difference?
No, it doesn't. You know, I don't think that many people are that worried about this because no one's ever tested this before. You've got billions of dollars going out to hundreds of people, thousands, tens of thousands of people, and nobody knows if they're A, alive, B, working, where are they, what are they doing. There's nothing wrong with this request. In the private sector, I do this every day. I ask, what are you doing? Where are you? I mean, are you alive? This is not unreasonable. The average person doesn't think this is unreasonable. So at the end of the day, okay, you know, Elon Musk is controversial. I got it. And this whole DOGE thing's, you know, it's come on the scene and it's very electric and controversial. I got it. But if you're not working and nobody can contact you, what's wrong with asking? I see no problem with this.
I mean, this is just embarrassing. I see why the Democrats lost, bro. I see why the Democrats can't even get their donors to donate to them. I see why the Democrats are at the bottom right now. I see why the Democrats are frailing right now because they got nothing. Their only opposition is we don't like Trump. That's not enough justification. And this is one of the things that I noticed during the 2024 campaign runs is that I remember I kept making videos, hey, but Trump is not enough. Demonizing Trump isn't enough. You actually have to bring an appropriate solution. You actually have to make a better case. You actually have to be a better alternative. Donald Trump's the centrist. I kept getting lambastic. Oh, just go back. Go look, put Trump. I did a lot of videos on Trump in the election. I put why people voted for Trump. Why you should vote for Trump. I put those videos out there. And Democrats every day makes my case. Every day they validate my theories and assumptions about them and their motives. Let's take a look at this because America wanted to go in a different direction. You saw the polls that I referenced. You saw the numbers that I referenced. Look at how this Democratic strategist is talking. Let's take a look.
You're seeing the polling and you're seeing how
and Donald Trump has a better than 50% approval rating. I have seen the polling.
Elon Musk is, how unpopular DOGE is. And beyond that, there is a real concern about the kinds of...
You know what I love about...
How unpopular DOGE is, but 72% of Americans want government spending to be cut at least $1 trillion. 72%. Which department promised to cut $1 trillion? Oh, DOGE, but it's unpopular, according to the Democratic strategist. Let's continue.
You, Lulu, is that you get to say what you want to say, and then you got to say what you think I ought to say. Why don't you just let me finish my point here? The point, Wolf, is this. The American people asked for a different direction, and what they did not ask for was a continuation of the status quo. What I think Musk and his efforts represent is a complete deviation from what most people would say has been the status quo when it comes to a government that seems to always get bigger, and we never really go in and root out waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, are they going to make some mistakes? Sure. Are they going to have to recover those mistakes? They've already done that, and they admitted it when they've done it. But I think overall they have a lot of political leash because the American people were so dissatisfied with the way government was being run before. So I think the politics of this is still a net positive.
Yeah, when you're doing a job, you're gonna make mistakes. It's about how you recover, and they recover fast. Just as they make fast actions, they make fast recoveries. And Democrats keep trying to act like, oh, the fact that they made a mistake is enough justification for them to stop doing it or doing it their way. No, you haven't been engaging with DOGE. Y'all mocked DOGE since its inception, and now that it has power, now you want to complain about it. It's crazy how none of their predictions of the future age well. They sitting here saying, oh my God, DOGE is not going to be able to do nothing, mocking it, making fun of it. I don't know what DOGE is thinking they're going to do. The government is so large and so complex, they won't be able to do anything. Then they get into power. Then they doing all this stuff. Now they're crying about it. But you just warn your colleagues, if people had believed the Democrats, DOGE was meaningless. DOGE couldn't do nothing. DOGE couldn't cut $1 trillion. But now look at them.
It's hard to do.
I have an idea for them. Why don't they cut the $15 billion that Musk has received in federal funding? I mean, if
what would
he
you like
cares,
to cut specifically?
I would.
Him rescuing our astronauts, giving
it's
internet
not about,
to Ukraine?
No,
Wait,
no. He's not rescuing our.
Hold on. So Elon's programs are fine, but everybody else's programs.
No, she said she wants to cut him out of the government. He does a lot of important things. I'm just asking what you want to get rid of. We need a space program, I think.
We're not talking about a space program. I'm talking about how Elon Musk, the wealthiest person in the world, is in the federal government making decisions about grants and about funding whenever he...
Wait, hold on. This lady that's speaking right now, she's the former DNC spokesperson. She used to be the spokesperson for the Democratic National Committee. It makes a lot of sense what she's talking out of her mouth. Look at the outcomes. Okay, fine. Because this is what conservatives will ask. Okay, Elon Musk happens to have the best product on the market for whatever the government needs. Hey, we need military-grade electric cars. Oh, only Elon Musk company's creating it. So if he's the only one that's able to provide a product, is it really him shuffling money from the government into his own pockets? Or is just the fact that, yo, I happen to be the best? Make it make sense. Okay, if you don't like the money going to Elon, who would you like it to go to? And this is my problem with the Democratic Party. They offer no alternatives. This is the main criticism people had of Kamala Harris. You're not different from Joe Biden. We don't want status quo. We want something new. What are you offering? You got nothing. All you have is criticism. And that's what Democrats have been relegated to. No one put a critic into positions of leadership. I'm sorry. No one puts a critic to lead them into anything. Sorry, not sorry. That's the reality of the world. I digress. Let's continue.
Benefits from those things. He has people in a number of government agencies. Yes, it is true, including the FBI, in order to find ways to gain grants and to make more money. And are you okay with that? Is that something you're okay with? You're for cutting. You're for cutting, but you're not for cutting Musk.
I think you're full of it. B.
No, I'm not full of it. I have sources at the FBI.
He provides all sorts of services to the government.
Just a second.
He provides services and products to the government. Hey, you want to cut internet from Ukraine? He's providing that. Starlink. Oh, you want to cut military grade? It was $400 million from the Biden administration. You paid him too, right? And when they were made aware of it, they froze it. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to review this and see if the government actually need military grade Tesla trucks. And this is some of the things that I think Democrats, if I was being honest, right? If I'm trying to be down the middle, this is something that Democrats have to be able to discuss. But the problem is Democrats blatantly demonize DOGE from the offset, from the very beginning. Democrats didn't offer any alternative to what Donald Trump was offering. Donald Trump was the only one offering, hey, I want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from the government. Kamala Harris didn't run on that. Kamala Harris didn't have any policy positions on that. She talked about affordable housing. She wanted allocated funds for affordable housing, but you allocated billions of dollars to solve homelessness. Homelessness increased in California. You put money to put broadband internet for rural areas in America, and you still haven't completed it yet. It's not fast, it's not efficient. Like, people are just tired of the, oh, Democrats said, hey, we put this amount of money into affordable housing, but what was the outcome? We invest $50 billion into creating housing. What was the outcome? We created $50 billion to create a broadband internet, and you're telling me it's going to take longer than 4 years to do it? California said we're going to allocate $24 billion towards homelessness. And that's it. That's all Democrats run on. Oh, look, we spent $24 billion to solve homelessness. Sounds good. But then when I tell you the results, okay, hey, yeah, it sounds cool. It looks good to say you spent $24 billion to end homelessness. But what was the outcome of that? Homelessness actually increased in California. Does that make sense? So we just squandered $24 billion to make a problem worse. We put ourselves $24 in the hole, $24 billion in the hole to increase homelessness. Make it make sense. Solution-based politics. When you go based on, hey, I want outcomes, I want solutions, I want stuff to get done. Democrats are not the party of that. Democrats are the party of justifying power and control. Hey, I want to manage problems. I don't want to solve problems. That's how the Democrats are coming across to me. And this clip here exemplifies that.
What's the conversation on Capitol Hill? I mean, we're even hearing from Republicans like Nicole Malliotakis in New York who say that some of the decisions here that are being made are quite rash.
Well, the problem is it's having a consequence on real people's lives. We had 15 people today talk about their experiences, many of them Trump voters, veterans saying that they voted for Trump just 2 months ago. They're fired to doing jobs like helping other veterans. One person who worked at the Department of Agriculture said that he's expecting a new baby, and now it doesn't know how he's going to take care of his family. And they appealed to President Trump, as did I, to have a reinstatement, because many of these people were doing good work. They had good performance reviews. In fact, one person was fired after being promoted because DOGE didn't even realize that the person had been promoted. So it is totally irrational beyond the human cost. And that's because you're going, something that President Clinton did over 5 years with Congress, you have an agency doing like private equity. Cut. That's how they work in Silicon Valley with but you can't do that with the federal government.
But I just want to say, even if we were to slow the process down, you are going to have people with stories that will sort of make us say,
yeah, whether we do it in a month or 5 years, the outcome will be the same. If I told you, hey, you're going to lose your job in 5 years, it's still going to be devastating, right? But you won't have the knowledge that you're going to lose your job in 5 years versus a month. Okay, I lost my job in a month. So whether it happened in a month or 5 years, the results are still going to be the same. People are going to still be crying that they lost their job. And this is the same concept that I've been talking about, that the Democrats see taxpayer money like a charity. We're not giving you this money because we want to take care of it. It's this communistic, almost socialistic aspect. People have to do things in my best favor. I told you, socialism is slavery. This is how I say it. These people believe that they deserve your tax money. They deserve your tax money that you work so hard to. We in the private sector, right? Me, myself, included. I pay like 22% of my money to the government, right? I work hard for that, 100% of that money, but the government gets to take 22% from me, right? But I have to deal with layoffs. If something bad happens in the economy, I have to suffer through all that. No one's gonna feel sorry for me. I have two children on one income. We're one single income household. We budget to hell with all our stuff. We got savings to last us a couple of months if something happens, right? But that's me being prudent, me being responsible to know my circumstances and not living outside of my means, right? But then I expect people to have a pity party. Let's say I did live outside my means. Let's say I didn't have any savings like most Americans don't, and I lose my job. I expect, oh my God, you're supposed to keep me. I have two children I'm trying to take care of. No one's gonna feel pity for me. And this is how I think Democrats weaponize people's emotions to justify inefficiencies, waste, fraud, right? This is an emotional messaging. And I think that Americans are coming to the game that Democrats' playbook is. The emotional messaging ain't working the same no more. The gaslighting ain't working the same no more. Let's continue.
Sad or pull on the heartstrings, if you will. that ultimately will lose their jobs. I mean, we saw the same thing if you go back to some of the reporting during the Clinton era, where there were people who were saying, I needed my job because of my relative or a spouse was ill, or I had to take care of a child that had some type of issues. They still ultimately lost their jobs. That is a part of the process, and I just think people should expect that. Even if we were to slow this thing down and be a little more methodical, you're going to see people losing their jobs, because that's ultimately the objective here.
Exactly. Exactly. The world does not owe you understanding. And the sooner you come to that realization, the easier life becomes. The more responsible you are for your life. Hey, I don't expect it. Like, it's at will employment. Either at my will or at the employer's will, I can lose my job. So I have to prepare. Like, in my mind, I have contingency plans. Okay, I have to have some savings. I have to be able to, like, okay, if I lose my job, I have a couple months to figure it out without stressing my family, my wife, my kids with how we're going to make rent next week. No, I have 3 months, at least 3 months of living expense saved in my savings account right now. That's my emergency fund. We budget everything. Okay, hey, this is how much money I contribute to the savings. This is how much money we should spend on groceries. This is how often and how frequently we should go to the grocery shop. Like, I plan out my life so that, like a business, because you are a business, right? You sell your time for money. That's how I see myself. That's how I see myself as an employee. I sell my time for money, right? And just like a business, your business can't rely on the fact that the consumers are always going to buy their goods. They always have to justify their costs. They always have to justify to consumers their products and services. I feel like I have to justify my salary. Okay, am I meeting expectation? If I'm not meeting expectation, I better make adjustments so I can meet expectations, so I can continue providing be provided a salary. And this is the kind of thinking many people, me, you, we all think this when we're working our everyday 9-to-5 jobs. We all think this. But for some reason, the federal employee sits there and saying that he don't have to justify his job. He don't have to justify anything. This is how the Democrats lost. Because you serve us. You serve the American people. The American people go through this every day. Every day, the American voter is asked what they did yesterday, what they're doing today. And a public servant, a civil servant, someone who's supposed to be working for the American people, they feel offended when you ask what they did last week. And it shows you how pampered the federal employees actually are. The fact that they're offended being asked, what did you do? Can you summarize your job? What value do you offer to the American taxpayer? That is an offensive question when everyday Americans, no matter your class, no matter if you're working class, no matter if you're college educated, every day you answer that question. What do you do for a living? What did you do today? What you did in the last week? Make it make sense. And this is the kind of out of touchness is what is really driving the Democrats in a hole with their American people. But I digress. I think I went on a long-winded rant. I'm not supposed to. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What you think about the federal employees bucking, crying over being asked a simple question to justify their jobs. How you guys are thinking? Are you thinking like me? Like you're starting to lose sympathy for these federal employees when they're sitting here crying and complaining about losing their jobs? What do you think we go through it in the private sector? But, I digress. Maybe I could be wrong here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.